What? Healer's Troy. Yeah, yellow will be fine.
Okay, there you go.
It's just like. So, you like, I mean, we didn't think we would get, we got. I mean, that was such a bonus to be got. I'm in the. Glad you all are here for small behind. So let's first start with the elephant in the room. What do y'all think generally about moving the team meeting to 10:15? Like it. All right, good, good. What do you think, Eric?
This breakfast is off. I mean, I just like hot breakfast, so.
So you have to cook this morning.
Is that what you were asking me?
Yes, exactly.
That's amazing.
Anyway, guys, please scan and let's, we need good morning. Look, Millie, look at your look. Sure, look, I like it. I like it a lot. Very good. Anyway, guys, tell us something good going on right now. Someone give me something going really good right now.
Stock market was up yesterday?
Was anybody excited when the stock market went down? And appreciate it. Not even bought lots.
You're buying.
I bought a bunch of Apple stock and I did not. Anyway. I'm not good at that. So anyway, but the stock market did go back up yesterday. What about the weather right now? Is that fantastic? Weather right now is fantastic. In the 80s today, guys, and I was walking this morning with shorts and I had a light jacket on, but it's nice. The weather getting warm again. I put on a jacket. I like that. So, and I love being out there at 5:30 in the morning.
Easter week.
Holy week. Easter week. That's right, Jeff. Easter week is coming on Good Friday, coming up on this Friday. So we're looking for that. And we got, it's gonna be a great week, beautiful. And we're gonna see if the market's improving a lot. Okay, let's move on. Don't forget to tag Quan's Public Facebook, Instagram page, all your posts. Guys, just tag us. It's good for us and for you also to get the message out to more people. And so tag us and tag Instagram also when you do that, please. Our partner, Thomas and Brian. Are you Thomas and you're Brian?
I think that's how.
TNT.
First off, May 7th. I'm Emily Smith, this is Cheryl King. We are Thomas and Brown du jour. This one, this Top Golf is kind of down by my Buckhead office, so come join us down there, but of course, no matter what.
Top Golf, I heard this morning is starting a new thing called Top Pool.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're gonna start.
Is that
doing
swimming pool or
Pool hall. Dr. Whitechapel.
Bringing bowling to every other sport, like sit around and.
They're doing, so they're gonna be that, and I bet it'll be spectacular. So
Who
anyway,
doesn't love that?
they're starting in London, I think.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It does,
That is
yeah,
part of it.
exactly.
Okay, so how many of you all did your fair housing class already? Because it's a requirement now. Every 3 years you gotta take it, so, some of you have taken it. I got the teacher here. We're gonna see how well you were paying attention. Yeah. So she knows who's been good or bad. All right. Age is a protected class under the Fair Housing Act. True or false, y'all? Raise your hand if you think it's true. True? Raise your hand if you think it's false. The answer is false. False.
It's protected in, some state laws, but it's not part of fair housing. So it is, I mean, because obviously we do discriminate on the basis of age. We don't let toddlers drive cars. We make certain people take eye tests at a certain point, so. Within the age of like 21 and 70, there are some state laws that prevent discrimination, but not federal.
I love that. All right, question 2. Senior housing communities may legally exclude families with children, true or false? Raise your hand if you think it's true. Can we exclude the families? Councilman Cruz, raise your hand if you think it's false. It's kind of a funny answer. And the answer is, this is the lawyer answer.
Depends.
It depends.
If it's a 62 and older, that's gonna be different than the 55 plus. So everyone is right.
True, false, or depends.
Apply to be that.
It has to be under either a state or federal program. They have to make sure they follow every single one of the requirements. HUD sets up the age verification requirements. If they do anything that violates the rules, then they're gonna get sued by someone for discrimination for not allowing them to be in there.
So at those places, if it's 62 and older, can you invite your grandchildren to come spend the night with you?
Yes, you can have a visitor.
Just what I thought.
Usually in the covenants, it is usually time restricted though, like they can only be there a certain number of days of the year.
Probably has with the rules that they've written, it probably has a lot to do with making sure that that person's not there so often. Like we've had to write that into leases, like what is a guest and what is someone who is like crashing here all the time. So,
Yeah.
But yeah,
That live-in boyfriend.
yes, exactly.
Kids at the pool all summer.
Yeah.
Being so loud.
Those kids.
Question number 3. Fair housing complaints can only be filed by the person directly affected. True or false? True, raise your hand if you think that's true. Looks like everybody's got this one right. False, yes.
Any person who is aggrieved, so believes that they were affected or believes that there could have been a fair housing violation.
But Greg, I thought anyone could file, like if.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I'm not.
It's very broad, the
That's
definition of
what
a
I thought,
aggrieved
yeah.
person.
Yeah. Which is,
Very broad, like that.
yeah, which is fair, which is.
Well, the federal government does, it's the official term, the aggrieved person. It's what makes testers possible, right? Who aren't even really parties to a transaction.
Aggrieved by this.
Don't be aggrieved, you can file.
Yeah.
Question 4. No pets allowed policies do not apply to service animals. True or false?
True.
True.
Absolutely true, they are not
Absolutely.
pets.
They are not pets.
But have they got any stricter on me just having a dog and calling service and animal?
No, they've gotten looser. I mean, when I first started teaching the class back in like, 2017, 2018, it cost you $69 to get a letter, an emotional support animal letter, or $129 if you needed it overnighted. I showed some people like just a Google search of ESA letters during the class, and you can spend 3 minutes with a therapist at no cost and get a letter emailed to you within a day. So.
Well, my brother's in the hotel industry, he said if someone walks into their hotel and say they have a service dog, they can't even have them in.
Yeah, it's not worth the fight at that point. I mean, Hartsfield drew the line with Peacock, but
That's funny. Wow.
I think that's the last. That's it, all right. Don't start.
I will come back to something, we talk about that. Okay, so I had to call Charlotte this weekend and she's very nice with the phone. We had someone call us and say, we're getting ready to close this condominium, and we were informed that the whole complex is going into foreclosure. So that may start happening more now. So tell us what we do when we find that out, Sheldon. How do we protect our clients?
So-
Protect the money they put in there.
the listing agent communicated it rather nonchalantly, in my opinion, to the buyer's agent. And so what Jim knew is what the buyer's agent had been told. And I said, when? Like no information, because what month? The first question is, when is it gonna foreclose? I tried to look it up over the weekend. It's really hard with new construction because it didn't come up under the address. It didn't come up under the names we were given. So you don't know exactly what the security deed was reading. The legal description obviously probably didn't even have a street address when they were acquiring the property. So it was very hard to find. So I said, go find out when. And then he found out, so it's scheduled to close April 30th, it's foreclosing May 6th.
May second, that gotcha.
Wow.
No, it has to foreclose on a Tuesday.
So it's fifth, and I trust you.
Whatever the Tuesday, the first Tuesday in May is the day that it's gonna foreclose. Technically, that's enough time, but you know, as long as the closing attorney, whoever they are, have fun, can get a payoff, and those payoffs are harder to get. Because it's not something that the lender can just prep out of a system. Now it's got foreclosure filing fees, attorney's fees. So some human being in some foreclosure law firm who doesn't really care about whether your deal closes or not, because they're getting paid based on the work they do, has got to produce a full payoff. And then you really want to make sure you have enough time to get it to them. It's going to the attorney, not the bank, and make sure there's enough time to confirm. We usually ask, please confirm you pulled it from your foreclosure rolls so that they don't accidentally pry it out on Tuesday, which would be nice. The other question, I guess, because you said it was a builder, I just found out it was a condominium.
Yeah.
The question is gonna be if it's the entire condominium, there may not be any help. But what I told him was request that the listing agent and the seller should be talking to the bank and requesting postponement of foreclosure. I mean, they know what those words are. But I guess if it's a condo and the loan is on that entire condo, one closing probably isn't gonna solve that. And the other, I'll get you in a second, the other really serious issue with this is the buyer has put down substantial money toward construction. So this is not just the buyer's earnest money at this point. There may have been construction deposits and other things. And Jim asked me over the weekend, is the bank gonna take that money? And my response was, dude, that money's gone. Because that money went to the builder and the builder spent it already. The builder doesn't have a bunch of money sitting in the checking account.
so-
Yeah.
So this was like a conversion that it basically was a.
Do you
builder-
know? Cause I just found out.
No,
it was
no,
condo.
it's a new bill, because they changed over to the new bill, yeah. What happened was that. The kind of company was that one of the partners died. And that sort of may have messed everything, so anyway, I'm having this because there's a lot going on. So what I did was, just like I said, our client needs to call their own attorney and talk to their attorney to see what their rights are.
Yeah, I mean, they may not be in a really good position because the company is gonna go into foreclosure, probably, the property's gonna go into foreclosure, the company probably has no assets to speak of. And technically, that's gonna be a commercial, probably foreclosure. The lender may well go after the LLC and or the partners, which they don't normally do in residential foreclosures. In residential, if they're going to do it, they have to go back after the homeowner within 30 days and they don't usually go for confirmation. Commercial is a completely different animal though. They may well sue and they'll try and pierce that LLC or court and try and go after the actual people if they can. If they've got six, 7 figures in this thing, they're gonna be hiring big boy attorneys and trying to figure out who they can go after. There's a question in the back though too.
Question in the back?
Well, actually, you kind of answered it. I didn't realize it was a new bill. So I'm just curious as to what the implications of if a leasing going under the builder.
It's the builder, so he's probably still the declarant under the HOA at that point. The question will also be like for, you know, the problem will be for the people who put down money. And also if anyone else has already bought there. Typically with those kinds of foreclosures, the banks will take it over and sell the whole thing to another builder that's gonna come in and finish up the job, but not necessarily the same way.
Yeah.
So it can be, I saw, not with condominiums, but I saw one years ago where it was a neighborhood and only the first house had sold out. The whole place went into foreclosure. He had a $2 million house and he was coming to me because they were going to Forsyth County for rezoning to make smaller houses. Much smaller houses. And I said, your house is gonna end up, his was at the top of the hill. I mean, your house is gonna end up looking like the clubhouse in a neighborhood that doesn't support a clubhouse. So, he was trying to fight it zoning wise.
So, playing contrarian, going back to the pet.
Yeah.
The service pet, and I hate to do it this way, but I've got
No, I mean, I feel you.
I've got a landlord and he's been doing this for about 20 years.
Mhm.
And so I represent him in some of his properties, and I've seen the damage
Yes,
that animals do.
that's
right?
correct.
And so he had, and I cannot get him off his field, and yet I need to protect him, right? He
And
has-
yourself, because you'll get
that
tracked
is
down.
it. And
If you're the
So-
property, if you're doing, are you doing his property management for him?
no, no,
Okay,
just,
then
just,
probably not.
just,
Okay.
So
Maybe, maybe.
how do we, cause he's got a strict no pets.
They're not
And-
pets.
They're not pets.
There is, so if you were at the class, you saw pieces of it, and if you join the like Contracts with Cheryl King
Yeah.
Facebook group, I've got the whole 1995 HUD document that lays out everything, that they are not pets, that you cannot charge a pet deposit, you cannot charge a higher security deposit, you cannot charge
Wow.
a higher
Wow.
rent amount, you can't do sideways what you couldn't do directly. You cannot have a size restriction, you cannot have an a breed restriction. You can only restrict a particular animal if there's been issues with that particular animal. And that's really hard to prove because that kind of stuff is whatever county they were living in when the dog attacked someone is really gonna be the only place that record exists for a dangerous dog.
So if he got.
So there's nothing he can do, period. If somebody says, well, we've got this piece of paper that's saying. this
There's
is
nothing he can do.
service
Because isn't it,
Yeah.
under the ADA, don't they technically look at that service animal as an extension of the person themselves?
That's correct. You have to treat them like a non-disabled person without a dog. Like, that's exactly how the reasonable accommodation is letting them have this dog in the same way that I could go in there without it.
Without,
So
it's like
he's
you,
compelled, even though
He
he
is.
has a policy that says, I don't have any pets.
It doesn't
He's
trump federal.
compelled.
That's right.
And, by the way,
ADA and fair housing, it's the combination. So the Americans with Disabilities Act establishes the disabilities. And fair housing says you can't discriminate against someone with a disability.
and he can't charge a pet deposit.
No. Not for
Not for-
anything,
not
not
for
for
service
anything that
animal.
they've said is a service animal, companion animal, emotional support animal.
That is really not a service.
You would have to sue, and if they have that letter, I have one court case and you all saw it where a judge said, this is a form letter, this is BS. That you're not gonna get that judge on most things.
It was something to look at as like a wheelchair ramp or something.
Correct.
Like-
correct, it is their wheelchair.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, it's their accommodation.
I'm the spokesperson for this.
Carol, did you start again?
I'm saying, I mean, we have, you and I have had a conversation. And so he and I have had that conversation after your class. I cannot move him off that.
And here's something,
Yeah.
he is still on the hill too. He's still on the hill too. He may die on that hill, but
Yeah.
it's a good house.
He's gonna get sued eventually. Everyone sort of know, like most tenants, not all, but most tenants know the game and they know the magic words to say. They know what their rights are.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they're asking for and they know exactly when you violated what they have to. They absolutely.
But your answer should be, this is the way I understand it, but you know, I'm typically. Yes.
Yeah, he has, we've been doing this for a long time. It just putting myself in his shoes. I've seen the damage, I've seen the amount of money he spends every time.
I have a rental property with an emotional support animal in it. I do actually understand.
And guys, I have an additional, I have a support grandson. So I can bring him into my 62 and all. We didn't have. American Fun Show. We love American Fun Show. You want to brought the great breakfast.
Y'all, I'm Tiffany Jones with American Home Shield. I'm not most of you here in the room, but for those that I have not, American Home Shield has been partners with you guys for, my God,
Long time.
yeah, forever. I did make some breakfast casserole back there, help yourself. I do have some super exciting new things to roll out today. First off, I wanted to let you know, we just did a survey, just of random 1,000 new homeowners. 1 in 3 wish that they had gotten a home warranty because of the expenses that they have after closing. So I just wanted to bring that up because I know some agents just don't really use home warranties, don't think they're necessary. But it really does behoove you just to bring it up to your buyers, especially if you feel like you have that leverage room. Most sellers are paying for those home warranties. I know Paige is one example, you know, they ask for that for most of their buyers. And I think most of the time the sellers are covering them, right? We'll agree to that. So, I mean, if you aren't asking for it, then, you know, your buyers may have this big expense after closing that they have to come out of pocket for. So just remember, that can be a real big benefit for them. And a benefit for you guys, we have set up a big perk with, your office that we have is a RESPA compliant rebate. It's a RESPA compliant program where we give you back a credit to your office bill up to $100 per warranty that you close with us. You just have to, when you order the warranty, you do need to put in your client's name, email, and phone number. That's how it's RESPA compliant, right? Because we're paying for good information so we can stay in touch with the member and ensure they have a good experience. We have a 78% renewal rate right now, so most of our members are renewing year over year. And what I wanted to introduce today, we're super excited. You guys should all have a flyer. If you don't, let me know on my way back down, I'll hand you one. This sheet tells you everything you need to know about our warranties. I always recommend the Shield Complete, our top plan. That's what you want to ask the seller to cover. Single family up to 5,000 square feet, ask the seller to cover up to $785 for that Shield Complete plan. And now Shield Plus and Shield Complete now include, this is brand new, y'all, to the warranty industry. It's super exciting. We launched an American Home Shield app at the end of last year. This helps you guys because the members don't get caught up and I don't know who my contractor is. I don't know what's going on with my claim because sometimes they don't know how to log in or they get frustrated if they have to call customer service. If they're managing their warranty right there on the mobile app, it makes it so simple. So this is a huge perk in itself, but just about 30 days ago, we added in this new live video chat feature. We are now staffing plumbers, electricians, HVAC techs, appliance techs. They average 20 years of experience. We have them on staff. A lot of them just don't want to be out in the field anymore. And your clients, when they go to the app and they say, I'm having an issue with my ice maker, right? They have the option of doing a live video chat right there with our expert to try to troubleshoot the problem. And then that saves them the $125 service call fee. It saves them the time off work, having to meet the contractor at the home. And so far in the first, it's been, I think, about 40 days now, we are seeing about 20% solving the problem, not even having to move forward and file the claim. So this is super exciting and they love it because they just feel like they solved the problem on their own and it makes them feel good. So it's kind of a warm and fuzzy too. And then one last thing, we're all trying to make our listings stand out, right? You don't have to use this kind, but we do have a lot of different kinds of sign writers that reach out to me. If you want to look at adding this, big value to help your listings stand out, especially if systems are older, knowing it comes with that protection, right? And then I also have these 10 cards that you can put in your listing. This kind of comes with the 1-year American Home Shield warranty. They can scan the QR code, learn more about what it covers. And I'm always here. So if your clients, or if you have a listing, you're giving a warranty and a potential buyer is still, you know, maybe wanting to walk because the AC is old, they don't understand how warranty works. Give them my number. I'm happy to talk to people and just tell them how it works. I'm always just upfront. Here's how it works, you know, and let them know and just give them that piece.
Any questions? Anybody? Yes, right here. Yes, ma'am.
They can be placed on rental properties, correct?
They can, yes, anything residential. We don't do commercial, but residential, yes. I just say the rentals, make sure that you designate who's gonna be the one to handle the claims, you know, but yes.
I know previously it was a high rate of decline in claims is for American function. What about now?
A high rate for decline? No, we're one of the highest. We do not have a high denial rate at all. At all. Now, we do have, some claims do have out-of-pocket costs. So one example is hot water heaters. You'll see this, right? So with Shield Complete, you'll see here that the right here, it is modifications, codes, and permit. With Shield Complete, you get $1,000 to help go towards those out-of-pocket costs. So if they file a hot water heater claim and we say, yes, we're gonna cover the hot water heater. We cover the hot water heater, the labor, but then a lot of times these plumbers are expensive, right? And they're gonna charge for like a cutoff valve, for the an expansion tank, some things you need to do to bring it up to code. That is generally gonna be out of pocket. But if you have Shield Complete, you do have $1,000 to help cover those. But no, our denial rate is one of the very lowest in the industry. We have an extremely low denial rate. Sometimes people get confused if they have any out-of-pocket costs, they think it's denied, but that's not a denial. Yeah, I'd have to look it up, but I think, I don't want to tell you wrong, but if you want to email me, I can let you know, what percentage had out-of-pocket costs last year. It was low.
Anything else? Can we thank it all, thank for the breakfast? All right, guys, so, I want us to take a moment today because, who gets on James's, Shaw call on the morning, okay? Who was on the one yesterday morning? Tell me what he said about the show. Did he say anything about the show?
Yes, there's three things, and I'll have to remember, but longer days on market, price reductions.
Okay,
I was gonna forget the point. Then, those three things that are in the shift book, and then you know you're in a shift. I mean, it's been happening. And all three of those, anybody remember this? All three,
Authoring was not on it yet.
But price-
Because I was coming here.
price reductions, days on market.
It is page what, 39 of this
Sorry.
book?
But anyway, bottom line is, the shift is on. I mean, obviously it varies by market, it varies by price point, varies by, I mean, there's a lot of factors, right? Some, pivot shift group, it's all over the country.
Increase in inventory.
that's it.
That's it.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
That was it. And now we could, probably here in this room, I'll just say real quick, some people probably may not be feeling it. I know I have a couple listings, and look, at the end of the day, I'm gonna say it up front, because I know it'll come back. It's all about price, it's all about what is the market at this moment, and what are people willing to pay? And, so it's just that always conversation with the seller. And I feel like you need to price right at or below, a little bit below market if you're looking at comps, because of, I don't know, what I'm.
Oh, so you mean that if prices are going down a little bit, you price it according to the previous year and you go down a little bit when prices are going down? What a novel concept. Thank you so very much for bringing that to our attention.
As long as sellers would agree with us on that, that's the hardest part. That's why we have such great stats we show
So guys, here's what I pulled up yesterday, and y'all have access to all the information. They called a normal market back in March of 2019. He was in the business in 2019. All right, so why would they call a normal market back in 2019?
Because we had more of an equal buyer versus seller market. And we had a great market in 19.
We should have bought more house land.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so here's what the measure got, and just let this float out, and we're gonna come back to the table, right? So the normal market, which they're calling normal, which is supposed to be 6 months of inventory, well, I mean, I'm not sure 6 months back then, but you look from, right? During 2019, there were 13,280 listings in March of last year. I'm not gonna say exactly what. How many listings do we have right now in March of this year? Who gets?
About 15,000.
15,000, anybody guess? 9,000, okay, anybody guess?
For all of Atlanta?
So,
Yeah.
13.
Metro Atlanta. 10,386. We had 13,000 back then, okay? Number of pendings back in March of 2019, there were 3,797 pendings during March of 2019. Right now, we've got 4,885, okay? So there's fewer pendings right now, okay? All right? Number of sold in March of 2019, 4,500. Right now, 3,000. 3,000 that are pending right now. Months of supply, this is what surprised me, okay, was, you think there's a higher months of supply now or back in 2019? Yes, give 50% chance to be right.
Wait, what's the question? Sorry.
Do you think that the months of supply was higher back in 2019 or higher now?
Well, I think it's a higher question, I guess, say,
Okay.
back then.
Because 2019, there was 3.9 months of inventory, now there's 3.3.
Oh,
So it's similar, okay? And a normal market is supposed to be what? 6 months worth of inventory, right? Are we close to that right now?
No.
No, we're not, exactly right, Chuck. Median sales price back then was 285, now it's 437. Medium sales price, original list price, 97% back then, 97% now. Price reduction, back then, 42% had to be reduced or get them sold, now it's 45, it was 46%. Failed listings, 26% back then, 36 now. All right, so when you look at this, what's going on right now in the market, okay? Someone tell me what they think Gary is talking about when he talks about shift. What is Gary saying? And what do you define as a shifting market? Virginia, how would you define a shifting market? What do you think going on when Gary talks about classically, the market is shifting? What do you think he's talking about?
Either your buyers or sellers.
Okay, I like that, okay. Right, what else do you think Gary would say? Is our inventory going up right now?
Yes.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
And if you're in Florida, yeah.
Yeah.
Florida,
3 months ahead of the game there.
all right, so, and guys, who remembers how many listings we had back in the crash market of 2007, 8, 9? Remember how many we had?
Bazillion.
A lot, 35 to 40,000.
Several years.
35 to 40,000, guys. So, and then, was that a good time to buy? Who should have bought a house back then? All of us should have bought more house.
How many weeks in a row did Jim say in this meeting, y'all are sorry, you're not buying real estate every week?
I did say that back in 2011, and we did buy some in 2000. Like this. So in the market right now, as you look at the market, would you say that our market is shifting? Does Gary mean by shifting mean that it's going in a bad direction?
No.
No.
Tell me why not?
Yeah.
All right, say it again.
Change.
Shane, all right, so is the market always shifting?
Always. And it depends, if you go micro. I'm looking at our market right now, days on market specifically, because I have houses that have longer days on market than I had anticipated when I listed them in February to go on the market the 1st of April, because we do a long period of preparation of property. But when we look at that, I am looking so micro that spring break was a huge impact on where it fell. So we had spring break, then we had Passover, and now we have Easter that's a different weekend. And usually, I mean, this may be, I know the big boys in the ivory towers are going, listen to that lady down there talking about spring break in Cobb County. It's huge. It's the high holiday. And so when you have that many people, both realtors and buyers, out of the marketplace over an extended period of time, what does that equal? More days on market. It does not, in our specific market, it does not mean price reduction. It means it's gonna take a little bit longer to sell. If this were 6 months from now and we had these days on market, it would equal price reduction, but it doesn't right now. We just have to get through all of these holidays.
So Rhonda, you're 2 years in business? So Rhonda, how do you see the market right now? Or 2 years, you don't have a huge perspective, but what do you think in the market right now?
I don't know any better. I am pretty new, but what I am seeing is that it's more important now more than ever that you make sure that the seller understands the price. And they might have all this documentation to back up what they want to do, but if you don't go in there with strong negotiation and facts for them, it will sit. I have one now that, just like she said, we're missing 3 weeks because of the holidays. I had 5 showings last week, which was a gift. None were serious. I'm so happy I'm showing it. And we're not due for a price improvement because we're missing 2 or 3 weeks because of the holiday. But had she got it right the first time, and this is uncharacteristic, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not used to this. I've had 2 price reductions already. And they've been aggressive. So what I'm seeing is that it's just more important now more than ever that the sellers, they get it from day one.
I like that, okay?
Yeah. And but we can do all, you know, like with me, I mean, I feel
You
pretty
can
good
walk away
about my
from the
listing, but, sorry, was that true?
You can walk away
Well,
from the listing.
That's what I was, you have to be prepared to walk away.
Yes.
Heck, yeah. Now,
And
young agents who don't have listings in it, this may not apply to you guys, 'cause I get it, you're trying to get going, but
Worked with her for a year, she lost her husband.
Yeah.
I wanna help her.
you have to go into that listing appointment.
Price or house.
Is pricing listings right now, or they were a year ago? Lily, why do you say yes?
Because expectation.
Okay, tell me about that.
Expectation that their neighbor sold in 3 days, why can't I? My house is bigger, I have better lot, I spend more time preparing than my seller, my neighbor, and they sold over the weekend, why can't I? So if I price it lower than my neighbor a year ago, why I'm not expecting multiple offers? Instead of mine of still. We need to be able to answer all this why.
Market better now than it was a year ago?
Yeah.
Thanks to market better now than it was a year ago. Anybody? Either there?
Respect or who?
They're better for food.
Whatever, more prolific market, more stuff selling.
Yeah.
Better now than a year ago.
Better for last year.
Yeah,
Better for last year, Susan, what do you think? Better this year, better last
you
year?
mean, so
It's just different.
April to April.
Okay, I like different, I like that.
It's different.
I like different. All right, guys, so we give perspective for last year and this year, okay? More houses last year on the market, more houses this year on the market. It's like, I don't know, I don't know. It's either way, sheet. Okay, all right, so guys, let's be very quick here, okay? This is March last year compared to March on this year. New listings last year, there were in March, 5,000 listings last year. This year, 6,000. No, total number of active listings, 7,000 last year, 10,000 this year. Number of pendings, interesting, 5,000 last year, 4,800 this year. So very similar, right, guys? Let's still down a little bit, okay? Number closed, 3,400 last year, 3,100 this year. Month supply, 2.1 last year, 3.3 this year. Median sales price, up or down? 455 last year, 457 this year. And guys, that's great news, because that's staying before only go up a little bit. It's up by, doesn't sound much, by half a percent, okay?
It's not up.
Well, that's.
It's not up.
Yeah.
It's not even worth discussing.
I agree, 100%.
And that's what pricing it correctly and what we were talking about is great. If homes are pricing at what they were last year, we're not gonna go up because it's a new year. We don't do that 3 to 5% like we did for so many years. Okay, if it sold for this last year,
Right.
the identical home is gonna sell for 3 to 5% again this year. Because it's not, it's selling for the same. But if we want to get yours in front of the others because there's more inventory now than there was then we want to price it just a little bit below that. And that's what sustains the market.
That's right. Well, it's.
That's great.
And it's just had to get on seven.
Number of failed listings, this is the one that jumped out of it. The last year, 26%, this year, 36.5%.
Yeah, definitely.
So why are we having, in this shifting market, why are we having more failed listings? Why is that?
People are stuck in the
That's
same
right.
market from last year, you don't have their heads out of it, the sellers, and, I mean, I've got it right now with, somebody that I'm selling a house, that it's just. When we put it on the market, we were ahead of the market, and then now that we've been on the market, they did a small price reduction, not enough. And now we're still not where the market is, and we're just hanging around.
Well,
And how do you know what the market is? You said, why, how do you know what the market is? You do, how do you know what the market is? You do the research. You do the research. So once again, that's how you know what the market is. So as we prepare for getting into even more of the spring market, we'll be out of this Easter weekend soon. And we'll have the middle of April to the end of May to have a strong market. Do you all see it being a strong market in the next 6 weeks? What do you think, Shelley? I like that. Say it again. And if you get it priced incorrectly and you're on the market for how many weeks now? 4, 2 or 4?
It's like.
For make a change. How many for make a change? You, how many? So how many do you do, Dave?
10 days.
How many do you do, Susan? 2 weeks. Right, so if you're on the market, does anybody do more than 2 right now? Anybody at all? You do, how many do you do, Virginia?
Almost do 6 right now. I think we have to be more patient. And with 3 weeks, really 4 weeks. Because different counties, you're right, you're right.
I need to take back in 10 days.
We can holidays. I think we
Yeah.
have to be more patient.
More patient.
I say 10 days plus spring break.
Yeah.
My daughter still have a COVID hangover that we're going up double digits every.
Yeah.
I like that word.
You want to take that? No, that's only.
Last year, their neighbors sold, but right now, we don't have no comp. At least in my area, there's nothing sold in the neighborhood for the last year.
Also, for the last 2 years, the Atlanta market has been out of whack because it's been one of the top destination cities to move to. That's why, like, the last couple of years, we've had, like you were saying, like 5%, 6% other appreciation where other markets around the United States haven't. And then now, this year, I think that we're like at what, 2.35 or 2.5 compared to the rest of the United States that might be going at 5. So we're kind of due for a little stagflation, just to get out of the whack.
You've been very patient.
Yeah, I just wanna hear your guys' thoughts on, my cousin is currently selling his house in Florida, about 45 minutes inland from the coast of like Sarasota, Brady. And in his neighborhood, there's a bunch of houses that are exactly the same. And they're within $100,000 of they're all actively listed now, or listed, and the list price is wildly varied. And so it just shows that nobody knows what the price is supposed to be. They considered increasing the buyer's commission that they want. What's your take? Hey, we're offering 4%. It's not 3%.
So what he asked, and I have a very strong opinion, on quite, I'll hear your opinion. He said they're thinking about basically giving a bonus to the buyer's agent. That's for lack of a better word, but increasing their, maybe it was 2.5 and it goes to 5, whatever. What do y'all think about that tax? Does that help sell that house?
It's not right. No. It's the wrong intention. It's the wrong intention. You know?
Yeah. Somebody's talking about it, saying more, right?
It's the wrong reason we chose.
I've never liked bonuses. It's terrible. Yes, ma'am. Pardon me?
Interest rate by much better.
Yeah.
That's for the buyer.
I like that. Yeah, that's the part I like.
Takes this.
And I'm trying to cut through the whole, when NAR said what happened and everybody said, you're not allowed to not tell your buyer that you're not allowed to tell your buyer they can't go see this house. It's not offering agent commissions, but humans are humans. So seeing through the fact that you shouldn't or whatever, I wondered if it would actually entice, and I didn't give any.
Well, but I don't, sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna be, pre-approvals, reader, your pre-approvals, whatever you call them, we talk to buyers, are they up or down right now?
Up and down, in what sense?
The number of them,
Right.
they're lower than they ought to be.
Yeah,
Okay.
true. They're lower than it should be, but it's still, there's been.
You're seeing a few more out there, okay? All right, yes, ma'am, Angela.
The incentive needs to be for the buyer, not the agent. Because as a buyer, that I'm who you're supposed to be looking out for. So if you want to entice me to come, then you'll prove for me, not my agent. If my agent wants me to see it for that reason, then my agent doesn't have the best intentions for me. So whoever's trying to entice people to come in, and focus on what will bring buyers, whether it's a buy down, whether it's closing costs, whether it's whatever.
Yeah, okay.
And the other thing, the buyer has to have the agreement with the buyer's agent, obviously, and at a set amount, they can't go over that unless they change the agreement, so they have to go back and change the agreement for one deal, and then to Y'all's point, the buyer's gonna be like, hey, you're getting more money, but what's in it for me?
It's true, I forgot about
So-
that.
They'd have to change their buyer.
I'm against all of that except for if I happen to be that buyer. Buyer's agent, actually. And that one example, then we
Yeah.
can let it pass.
Yeah.
Another one.
Your question?
Yeah, actually, so I was just thinking about doing some quick math. So, by the way, my name is Jacob. I run a not-for-profit where I help support and rescue kids from sex trafficking. Real estate media company, we develop profit way for this area to do that. But I was just thinking about something, I want to contribute this. I think this might be meaningful. You guys are talking about pricing, why you're pricing down, right? So I was doing some quick math. If you lower the price by $10,000 based on the percentage that the realtor is getting, right? That equals $350 lost to you. There are some really important stats that are out there that, sometimes aren't talked about. For example, if you have a twilight image, that's the first image there, as the main image, that's increases the views by 76%. If you do that alongside some other ones, you can save yourself that price down potentially. So just an important thing to keep in mind. It's not always about losing money immediately. You might be able to actually save yourself that money.
Right, yes, ma'am. Thank you, Jacob.
And I don't mean to shift off of this.
Huh.
It is-
We're on medication for you.
Not all. And we're looking at what's going on nationally. And we've got a lot of things going on by the big boys. When we look at what Redfin and Zillow are doing right now in our market, in the national market, and they are removing listings from their platform on a regular basis because of things that we are currently doing, like coming soon, being able to be listed in multiple listing. Now, multiple listing made a shift last week, which they made a decision not to announce. But you can no longer go through showing time on a coming soon listing that's listed in multiple listing to set an appointment. Now, we all know that Zillow owns showing time. So what does that tell us about what Zillow has done? And then Monday, Redfin followed behind with removing any property that has been on the market prior to being active in multiple listings from their listing services. That's a huge amount of properties off of the platform, Zillow. That is a huge amount of properties off of the market on a platform like Redfin. And we know that homes.com, realtor.com, everybody else is gonna follow pretty soon, because that's just the way it goes. So are those numbers being toyed with, and are these stats being toyed with? And are the stats that we're looking at in first multiple listing, because they do allow coming soon, but now they've watered it down so much? So what's going on nationally? Because eventually it comes to Atlanta, Georgia, or as we have been able to say during the NAR thing, we started it. We started the buyer brokerage thing. We started it in the 1990s. Okay, so we were so ahead of the game when we had to start getting buyer brokerage agreements signed, right? We're supposed to be doing that anyway. But now we're doing the same thing with the coming soons, and it is going to affect our numbers. It's also going to affect days on market. That's the point that I was trying to get to, is it is going to affect days on market, and it's gonna make them look smaller. Zillow days on market have included anything that was coming soon. Okay, now when they already have, and Redfin is following, there will be no days on market for coming soon, and it will look like we have shorter days on market, but we don't. We have the same that we had a month ago. Does that make sense? I see you nodding your head and
Yeah.
going, what is she saying?
Well, no, I was just,
Already
I
get it.
can't remember if MLS counted coming soon as days on market. They don't, it's only active days on market.
but you're saying Zillow and Redfin are accounting,
They did.
or they
They
did.
did.
Yeah, they on their platform. They
Days
did,
on
and
their
now they're.
Or not necessarily days on market, good point.
That's right.
But last week Zillow changed it and this week Redfin and you know, everybody else is gonna
So it's
follow.
gonna. Yeah,
If you will take a look at the FMLS, when you put your listing, as a coming soon, so your days on, day zero will be day when coming soon expire and that's correct. If you do not put it as a coming soon, but you put, well, regular way, and you save it as incomplete, and they have days on market from a day of agreement.
is
So
that
this is
total
active-
days?
Yeah, so when you activated it, it already shown like a 2 or 3 days, because your agreement day was like a week or 2 weeks ago. And I was trying to fight it with them on the list, and they said the only way to go around.
Agreement day online, like,
Yeah, the only way to go around it is saving it as a coming soon.
So, I'm in my 42nd year of real estate. I'm 14 years here into this month. And if you ask me, Jim, what major thing has affected the market in the past 42 years? I can't think of anything. I heard this network is gonna come in, they're gonna shut it down, going, okay? I heard, oh, the computer's here, they will not need agents anymore. I think, well, really? I heard that when the Olympics came here, that we're not gonna get out of our house, because we try to be so bad, that didn't happen, guys. All this is changed the market. Can you think of anything in your career that drastically changed our market, or that drastically changed how the market, where we do business? Exactly right. Exactly right. So how many of you believe the market's just gonna get, very much better in the next 3 to 5 months? Who thinks the market is going to get worse in the next 3 to 5 months? Okay, Bob? So what do the rest of you all think?
We don't know.
Even Steven.
I think it's gonna be the people that work harder and smarter are gonna have a better market.
Right.
That's what I think.
The statistic that scares the bejesus out of me is, and I don't know exactly what it is, I've heard 72, I've heard 77% of agents that belong in NAR did not do one deal last year.
I met 3 last week.
Huh?
I met 3 last week.
77% guys did that. In this office, 51% of our office did one deal or less. So we're way above.
You and I are saying exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
You're saying that there is this huge percentage of people who are doing nothing. And they are counted in these statistics. It's like the days on market that are counted, whether they're days on market or not, or whether they're spring break days on market. But so it's still those who did well last year who are gonna have the market do well for them this year because they work harder and smarter. And the market's gonna be just fine for them.
The ones that are working, that very short last year, but the ones who work. Who work, yeah, they're working, that the market really fine here, and people still buying a house in their land fortune. I heard one last recent, that, that maybe got 17 offers on. Maybe put 17 offers. They're still out there, got 2 of them out there. Yeah, I don't know why that one got 7 offers and yours did not. But, that's right. That's pricing. Pricing is exactly right. Remember Gary Keller, and who knows who Barbara Corcoran is? I've met her several times. She's a good character, one character, but she and Gary agree on you cannot underprice the list. The market will bid it up. You cannot.
You can underprice.
Pardon me?
You can underprice.
How can you, how can I, so if I got a house worth 500, I put it at 200, what will the market do?
Probably bid it up to 600.
That election. There were 2 smart people I know in real estate that I know, Gary Keller and Barbara Corcoran, both agree on that concept. Now, telling a man that wants 500,000 for his house, that he put it at 350, you're gonna get a lot more offers. If that's the price in his head, that's part of his business. So guys, just realize the market is where it is. Don't worry where the market's going, it's gonna go now. If we get to 5.5% interest rate this year, what would happen to our market? It would
People
explode,
coming up
wouldn't it? It
with-
would absolutely explode, it would explode. Chance of that happening? Probably not, probably not. That's just stay in the market, stay in the market, then we'll put it in, okay? All right, next. Oh, guys, I hate to this in a while, guys. So, you know, our office production wise does pretty well. But I want you to hear how well we do against our neighbors here. And guys, I did not doctor these numbers. I put down, year to date, all price ranges, all areas. So that's how I document. So I want you to see what they're doing, okay, guys? Top 5 offices in East Cobb. First halfway across the street. Year to date, they have 14 listings. 36 closed units. Yes,
So what?
14 units, 14 listings here today.
Closed.
No,
Oh,
14 units.
Oh, closed.
Exactly like that.
Wait. Oh, 14 listening. The other 22.
Okay, just listen to the student, then you have that list, okay? This is year to date, guys. I took year to date from January to right now, okay, guys? They listed 14 houses. They have 36 units closed and $19.6 million in closed volume, okay? That's number 5. And I'll answer your question. Atlanta Fine Homes, where I used to work called Jennifer Roofers. They have got 43 listings right now. 82 are closed units for the year, 56.4 million in closed volume. That's Atlanta Fine Homes. Number 3 is Harry Norman, where Matt Hester is. They've got 82 listings right now, 160 closed units here today, and 99.3 million closed volume. Don't change the slide yet. Who do you think is number 2? What's going to be number 2? Anybody else? Anybody want to guess? Number 2 office. Okay, all right, put it up there, please. Atlanta Communities, they have 124 listings, 150 closed units, 136 million in closed volume, okay? Now look at Quan. How about half that guy? I'm not closed, listed, or any of this stuff here. I just the pretty face up front. But anyway, we have year to date 168 listings, 67 closed units, and 212 million in closed volume. And also, if you compare it to the top 100 offices right now, we're the number 1 office in the top 100 office for closed volume and units across the
Number 5.
Number 5 is Dr. Right, Chelsea. So guys, we, even though the market's down, I still might another 20%. We still, you all still do a lot of business out there, and I feel that we're more proud to be in business with you. So guys, that's want you to see those numbers because they get lost sometimes out here, but nobody is really chasing us to take us out of a position right now. We're off number 1 right now in the Rawlsville. Okay, if you're interested, coming up on Thursday, my mastermind, Captain Money, this guy used to be my coach. He was a brilliant guy. He understands the path of money. He is a math coach. He was mine for a long time, Chris, linguist, and he's going to be here via Zoom this Thursday from 11:30 to 1. Lunch will be served. If you like to stop, if you like my 20%, you're welcome to do so. But I'd love to have a nice full room for Chris. He is quite a brainiac and also has done well financially. Okay, GPS 401. Tell us about it, Arthur Reed.
So this is a pop-up. Usually I do them on Monday or Wednesday. I am doing them on this one on Thursday of this week. And somebody asked me specifically for this class. So there is a Zoom link. I don't see it on here, but I trust that Kimberly. And we're just gonna go over, why would you use a 411 and how it works.
Hey guys, if you don't want a GPS 411, you need to come to class. I don't know how you operate without that, but anyway, if you come to class, and Art, we thank you for doing these a lot too. Brandon Dunn, you want to talk about it, Angela?
Next Saturday, we are having our annual Spread and Dump event, so if you have not signed up, there's still opportunity to sign up. Great way to reach out to your clientele, have communication with your database, as well as get rid of some old things in your house.
I don't know why y'all are up here for that, guys, but that's a great deal. And the new age is 125, and the single age is 195, guys, to touch the people and have them come throw their trash, they would love it. So guys, please do that and support this Saturday, April the 26th. Market Matters, join us, guys. This is coming up Uh-oh, that's the wrong date, right?
January.
What's the date?
Coming soon.
I think it's April, I'm not sure.
April.
We will change it. It's coming up, guys, right? But not in January. Yeah,
No, April 30th.
April 30th is when his guy, and you're welcome to go to that. It is a lovely location, Sandy Springs Studio Theater in downtown Sandy Springs. Please go to that. Lessons learned.
Morning, everyone. How's everybody like the new meeting times that we're trying out? Raise your hand if you like it.
Good.
All right, couple things, something I learned this week, one of our great partners, Silverton, knocked something out of the park for a client of mine. Is one of my holdover listings when I took this position. Had a young man who's a first-time home buyer, has an annual bonus he's had for 2 years running, works for Quick Trip, really great young man, and the credit union he was working with, because he felt obligated to, couldn't get the deal done. And so they basically just punted on him and sent him a denial letter. Tried to get him, the agent is a city side agent, tried to get her a couple of times to reach out to him and say, hey, at least talk to some of our partners. And I actually gave him Supreme and Silverton's information, and he got with Danielle, and Danielle's got him closing on our same close timeline that we were originally on. They're gonna close it in 12 days. Got him a much better deal, and it was fantastic. I was out of town while this happened last week, so it was great. We just handed that off, and she did a great job, so. Second thing, we were talking earlier about days on market and how that affects, buyers, sellers, all that stuff. In your follow-up, when you're talking to sellers, especially right now, a lot of them get frustrated because they don't know days on market has gone up. So talk to them earlier about that. Tell them, hey, I know you talked about listing here, but your timeline is you got to be out by this date. Move that timeline up based on days on market. Start having that conversation early. And then with price reduction, I know you all know this, but have those price reduction conversations in your listing appointments, right? We're going to start here. If we don't have the traffic we expect, then we have to make a move. We have to tell the market we're serious about what we're doing. So appreciate it. Y'all have a great week. Happy Easter. Yeah.
If you tell them we need to reduce the price, what's the percentage point right now typically?
Depending on the condition.
5%?
5%.
Is that what I'm hearing you say, 5%? What's that then?
Yes.
Gotcha, okay. Oh, gosh, good. Well, no, so yes, I didn't know this, but I think it's 5%. All right, let's learn next. March cap, this is one of the favorite things I do, and I usually would give people their caps. When the cap means that you keep 100% of the commission, why people stay at companies that are paying 75, 100, 125, and $250,000 to be there, but they're pretty office is beyond me. So anyway, cappers, cap. All right, let's give our hands back again. There we go. Nicole, way to go, Nicole. There we go. Gary Bites, tap again. Let's get Gary again. Let's tap. Stephanie Can, tap again. Where's your Stephanie? Nina Corrier, let's give her a hand. Tap again. I like it. It's not tapping over and over and over. I love it. Miriam, tap again. Where's the Miriam? You want to have 17 off? Wow. And Howard, come on, give her a hand. Come on, tap again. Where you at? Joanne Lunt, tapped again. Joanne, I love you, girl. All right, Mary McMahon, tapped again. Adam Murdoch, tap, where's the arm? Julie, way to go, tap again. Way to go. She tapped, I think, in 2 weeks, I think, if I remember right. She tapped quickly. Angela Presley, tapped again. Come on, you get one more half. Be the pack. Don't do as I say, do as I do. I like it. All right, run it so down, tap again. Come on, I'll take your cap on. Huh? What? Okay. How about you people? All right, run to the way to go cap. I'm proud to run them. So how I like the heart. Big God, it's the heart. First listing, guys. Who remembers their first listing? I remember well. Pretty much first listing. Where was it?
Condo.
Mine was in Gwinnett County. I got lost going to it. My GPS not working back then, so. First listing. I cannot pronounce his name.
Hi, Sheree.
Marguerite, way to go, Marguerite, plan good. That's right. Payday, now, guys, this is what I love more than, standing up payday, people that have their first close. Remember the first closing, I do. I do remember. It's that same house in Gwinnett County. Kathy, let's give Kathy a hand. First closing. Cindy, way to go, Cindy, first closing, getting paid, like it. March Madness, who's talking like this?
Yeah. How much money?
The winners, we're going out, we're like, no, it's not me. Who won? Third place goes to Jim Alexander and Gabriel Betsek, ready to go. I'm fine. Second place, uniform, everything, rock there. And first place goes to Reed. If we find one, guys.
Even the blind hog finds an acre sometimes.
Mine was very mathematical. This is what I went, we see 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I figured out. Anyway, thank you, Ed, for doing that again for us. Alliance partners, come on up. Who's up?
I guess we're gonna go today. Kyle is being kind. Thank you, Kyle. Kyle's glad we're here. You wanna talk about this?
Yeah. No, you go.
I'm Reed.
I read.
I'm Danielle.
Danielle.
Appreciate it.
So movie party, save the date. Thank you, Heather, very much for putting this together. June the 7th. This is the day that we will rent out the movie theater down at Merchants Walk. 9:30 a.m. We'll have 3 movies. You guys do the marketing, we pay for the movie. That's the way it works. You guys will ask, email us, and email Heather and ask, and she'll prepare a flyer for you that you can send out to all the people in your database. Please don't put it on East Cobb Moms, which happened one year. Remember that? We had 900 and something people. Yeah, that was expensive. That was over $10,000, really. It was. So, and these are the movies: Lilo and Stitch, the Mission Impossible movie, and the Minecraft movie. So these are gonna be good. And we'll keep track of who goes, and we'll be able to tell you afterwards. So you've got an opportunity for probably at least 3 touches on this. The invitation, the reminder, and then the follow-up for anybody who goes. So hopefully you guys will take it. Jim, you'll tell them what a no-brainer.
Guys,
Yeah.
if you're not doing this, you're online or here. I'm like, how would I do this? You can send your database to a free movie, guys. Why you would not do that, I have no idea, because you just don't want to go to a free movie
Do it.
on 10 o'clock on Saturday. It's great. So guys, please send it to your database, but don't put it on social media.
Heather, anything you want to say about this?
Welcome to be there to meet your clients, but don't feel like you have to. This is an event where you have to be there. We will be there to help your clients for you. And then after the movie party, I'll send you a list of who all attended. And then what movie they saw, just so it's an extra reach touch to your clients.
We'll actually let you know,
Beforehand.
Beforehand, yep.
Yeah.
Great. Heather's got it down to an art.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's my 8th.
I mean,
Anything you want to say about interest rates before?
I have something to
Okay.
share.
All right.
Word on the street is that some of these new home builders are approving their builder incentives for outside lenders. So this is beneficial to us, obviously, your clients, because sometimes the in-house lenders are more conservative than we are. So if you have anyone looking at a new build, let us have an opportunity to give them a quote.
What she's saying, think about it, guys, in the past, it's been, okay, the builder is gonna give this kind of incentive, but you have to use their lender. What she's saying is, like, for example, she met with a team at a subdivision, 5 or 6 agents, a Pulte subdivision, and they said they're not being nearly as picky now. So when you guys go in and you take your client to your home subdivision, at least try to see if you can get to use your favorite lender, whoever it might be. And, because you will see it more now than you did probably, 6 or 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And just in regard to interest rates, this is what I wanted to show you. So this is Mortgage News Daily, which I would encourage all of you guys to monitor. It's a great resource for you to know what's going on in the market. And if you look, starting on April 3rd, lowest mortgage rates in more than 5 months. Rate rally reverses. Worst 24 hours for rates so far this year. Mortgage rates surged to highest levels. Wild ride for mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are actually much higher. Mortgage rates jump back above 7. Mortgage rates fall back below 7. That's what's going on right now. So the key really is, we can tell you, or Kyle can tell you what rates are today. We don't know what rate's gonna be in the future. We don't know. I've got this sneaking suspicion. You don't have to hold me to this. It's the first time I've even given an opinion. I think we're gonna see lower rates come 3, 4, 5 months from now. I could be wrong. It's just a feeling, and there's no science behind it. Which is probably what, and by the way, have your peeps call our peeps. Yes. Appreciate you guys. Any questions? Thanks.
All right, is that it, Kimberly? Y4C2Ts. What am I not asking about? Billy, what's your favorite Y4C2T today? Which one jumped out at you?
Say, customers always come to,
Say it again?
customers always come to.
Why is that important to you?
So a lot of agents on the market, you have to prove that for you, the value is the customer, not the money that you get paid.
I think you always put your customers first, on first. That's your job. You put their needs ahead of yours, which may mean that, guys, that's a bad house for you to buy. I would not.
Or-
You. Anyway, guys.
It may mean you have to fire them first before they fire you. You're still putting them first.
Yes, but.
You all, thank you for coming, guys, and thank you for coming to your time. Thank you for coming today.
Yep. Fire them, fine. They can appeal.
Uh-oh.